The town of Hollow Creek was small and forgotten. Weeds choked the sidewalks, houses stood empty, windows like vacant eyes. The town had a secret. It was a secret whispered about in hushed tones. That secret was Hollow Manor. The manor loomed on a hill overlooking the town. It was a sprawling Victorian mansion, its paint peeling, its tower crooked. Locals said it was haunted. They said anyone who entered would never be the same. Most steered clear, their fear a palpable thing.
We have to go, Liam insisted, his eyes gleaming. Think of the story we'll have.
Emily predictably scoffed. It's just an old house, Liam, probably full of squirrels and cobwebs.
Our group of friends dared to be different. There was Liam, the bold one, always pushing boundaries. Emily, skeptical and sharp, but easily swayed by Liam's enthusiasm. Then there was me, Sarah, always the cautious one, yet drawn in by their adventurous spirit. And finally, there was Mia, quiet and dreamy, with an unsettling fascination with the macabre. But Liam's enthusiasm was infectious. He knew Emily wouldn't be able to resist a good mystery, and he was right. The front door creaked open, groaning like a wounded animal. It was as if the house itself was reluctant to let us in, guarding its secrets jealously. Dust swirled in the stale air, thick with the scent of decay. The sunlight streaming through the broken windows cast eerie patterns on the floor, illuminating the neglect that had taken over. We stepped inside, each footstep echoing in the oppressive silence. The sound seemed to bounce off the walls, amplifying the emptiness that surrounded us. Cobwebs draped the furniture like ghostly shrouds. Each piece, once a cherished possession, now stood as a monument to a forgotten time. Portraits of stern-faced strangers stared down from the walls, their eyes following our every move. It felt as though they were silently judging us, guardians of the memories that lingered here. One room was filled with faded photographs. Each image captured a moment, a memory, now lost to the ravages of time. They were scattered across the floor, faces lost to time staring up at us. It was as if they were pleading to be remembered, to have their stories told once more. There was a palpable sadness in the air, as if the house itself mourned the loss of its past. Every creak and groan seemed to echo with the sorrow of forgotten lives. We found a child's room, untouched for decades. Toys lay scattered, frozen in mid-play, a silent testament to a childhood long gone. A rocking horse stood frozen mid-gallop. It was as if time had stopped, preserving a moment of joy that would never be experienced again. A dollhouse lay open, its tiny inhabitants forever paused in their daily routines. Each miniature room told a story, a glimpse into a world that once was vibrant and full of life. In the attic we found old trunks filled with forgotten treasures. Each item, covered in dust, held a piece of the past, waiting to be rediscovered. An old journal with yellowed pages lay open, filled with handwritten notes. The words, though faded, spoke of dreams, hopes, and everyday life, now just echoes in the silence. As we left, the house stood silhouetted against the setting sun, a silent guardian of the shadows of the past. Its stories, though hidden, would forever linger in the air, waiting for someone to listen.
The attic, Mia whispered, her voice barely audible. It was as if she feared that speaking any louder would awaken something lurking in the shadows.
We all felt it, a pull towards the narrow staircase leading to the attic. It was an unspoken agreement among us, a magnetic force drawing us upwards. The air grew colder as we ascended, the darkness thickening with each step. Each creak of the wooden stairs echoed like a ghostly whisper, sending shivers down our spines. The attic was a cavernous space, lit only by slivers of light piercing through cracks in the boarded-up windows. The beams of light seemed to struggle against the oppressive gloom, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Dust motes danced in the eerie beams, creating an almost magical yet unsettling atmosphere. It felt like stepping into another world, one forgotten by time. And then we saw it. A shape in the corner, barely visible in the dim light. A trunk tucked away in a cobweb-laden corner. It looked ancient, as if it had been there for centuries, untouched and forgotten. It was ornately carved and bound with tarnished metal. The intricate designs told stories of a bygone era, hinting at the secrets it might hold. Liam heaved it open, the hinges groaning in protest. The sound was almost human, like a sigh of relief or a moan of despair. Inside, nestled in faded velvet, lay a porcelain doll. It was pristine, untouched by the dust and decay that surrounded it. Its eyes were closed, its painted lashes resting on porcelain cheeks. The craftsmanship was exquisite, every detail meticulously rendered. But there was something unsettling about its serene expression. It was as if the doll was hiding a secret, a silent witness to the attic's forgotten past. The air grew heavier, and we couldn't shake the feeling that we were not alone. We took turns holding the doll, each of us feeling a strange energy emanating from it. It was as if the doll had a life of its own, whispering secrets from a bygone era. The air around us grew thick with an unspoken tension, a mix of curiosity and unease.
It was Mia who seemed most drawn to it. Her eyes never left the doll, and she seemed entranced, almost as if she was under a spell. She whispered to it, her voice barely audible, as if she was sharing a secret with an old friend.
She held it close, her fingers tracing the delicate features of its face. The doll's eyes seemed to follow her every move, and a chill ran down my spine as I watched. It was as if the doll was alive, responding to Mia's touch.
We lost track of time in the attic, the outside world fading away. The room seemed to close in on us, the shadows growing longer and more menacing. We were in a world of our own, disconnected from reality.
It was only when Liam mentioned the setting sun that we realized how late it had gotten. The golden light filtering through the broken windows cast eerie shadows on the walls, making the room feel even more surreal.
We hurried down the stairs, our footsteps echoing in the vast emptiness of the house. Each step seemed to take an eternity, the creaking wood beneath our feet adding to the sense of urgency.
But when we reached the bottom, Mia was gone. The realization hit us like a ton of bricks, and a cold dread settled in the pit of our stomachs. How could she have vanished so quickly?
Panic clawed at our throats. We called out her name, our voices trembling with fear. The silence that followed was deafening, amplifying our anxiety.
"Mia!" Liam called out, his voice echoing through the empty halls. The sound seemed to bounce off the walls, creating an eerie symphony of echoes that only heightened our sense of dread.
We searched every room, our hearts pounding with a growing sense of dread. Each corner we turned, each shadow we examined, only deepened our fear. The house seemed to be playing tricks on us, its dark corners hiding secrets we couldn't uncover.
But there was no sign of her. It was as if she had vanished into thin air, leaving us with nothing but the haunting memory of her last moments with the doll.
We found her at the foot of the attic stairs.
She was cradling the doll, humming a haunting lullaby.
"Mia!" Emily cried, rushing to her side.
But Mia just stared blankly ahead, her eyes vacant and distant.
She was different. Her usual quietness had transformed into a chilling stillness.
Her eyes, once warm and inviting, were now cold and empty. Something was terribly wrong.
We tried to take the doll from her, but she clung to it with unnatural strength.
Her soft voice, when she finally spoke, sent shivers down our spines.
She wants to play, Mia whispered, her gaze fixed on the doll. She wants to come home with us.
We fled Hollow Manor, the oppressive atmosphere clinging to us like cobwebs. The setting sun cast long, eerie shadows as we ran, our breaths coming in ragged gasps. We didn't look back. We didn't need to. The feeling of being watched followed us, icy tendrils reaching out from the darkness. Finally, we reached the familiarity of the town, the streetlights casting a warm glow that did little to dispel the chill that had seeped into our bones. We piled into Liam's car, the engine roaring to life like a startled animal. As we sped away, the last glimpse I caught of Hollow Manor was of its silhouette against the dying light, a single window glowing eerily in the gathering darkness. Mia was never the same. The lively spark in her eyes was gone, replaced by a haunting emptiness. She refused to part with the doll, carrying it everywhere she went. She spoke of the doll as if it were alive, her whispers sending chills down our spines. The once comforting silence of her presence was now unnerving, filled with unspoken words and unseen shadows. We tried to tell others what we had experienced, but our words sounded hollow even to our own ears. No one believed us. They dismissed it as our imaginations running wild, but we knew the truth. Hollow Manor had taken something from Mia, something we could never get back. We never went back to Hollow Manor. The memory of that night hung over us like a shroud, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked within its decaying walls. The town remained oblivious, the whispers of the manor's haunting fading into mere legend. But we knew better. We'd seen the truth in Mia's vacant eyes, felt the icy grip of fear tighten around our hearts. The manor still stands, a silent sentinel overlooking the town, a testament to the unseen forces that lurk in the shadows, waiting to claim their next victims. And as for the doll, it remains with Mia, a constant companion in her silent, haunted world. Some places hold a darkness that whispers on the wind, a chilling reminder that not all mysteries are meant to be solved. Hollow Manor is one such place. Its secrets are buried deep within its decaying walls, guarded by unseen forces that prey on the curious and the unsuspecting. Heed this warning, dear reader. If you ever find yourself in the forgotten town of Hollow Creek, steer clear of the manor on the hill, for within its walls lies a darkness that can claim more than just your sanity. It can claim your very soul.